This is Gina. Thank you for joining me for this Astrology Chat Live for February 11th, 2025. Today I want to focus on the full moon in Leo that will be exact early tomorrow morning, Eastern Standard Time. It's one of those times where the full moon is actually occurring on the 12th, but it's a little closer to the evening of the 11th than the 12th. And also, as we build toward a full moon, it can be the most potent, those energies. But then they do stay with us for the 2 weeks that follow. Um, and so these tips that I'm going to go over today, these ideas for how to maximize this time, really are active not just now, but for the next couple of weeks. I understand that people have been a little bit more nervous about this full moon than every ordinary full moon because of the square to Uranus. But every full moon is an opportunity. There's potential, and a Leo full moon certainly is no exception. The sun absolutely loves to shine its light on Leo any way that it can, even if it's via the moon. And this is a really spectacular full moon. Uranus being there really just means that we could be bringing in some surprises as well at this time. Um, and so it's a good time to be on the lookout for things to shift and change, maybe to be a little more flexible than usual. So as I go over these different tips for maximizing this Leo full moon, which is active from now until really later in the month, like February 26th, 27th, when we have our next lunation, they are taking into account this square from Uranus as well, and the whole picture of the sky, the sun working with Mercury. And I'll also link to some other videos at the end here that go into some of this a little bit more. But let's get into several different ways, 6 to be exact, ways of maximizing this transit, because I think it's a beautiful full moon. So I'm going to add these words to my little visual here, in the hope that that's helpful to anyone maybe coming in late, and also just that it maybe is helpful for clarity. So the first idea, I have this huge font. I'm going to need to change this font, even though this is not the best thing to do while we're on the phone together. But this font is way too big to actually work with. There we go. The first tip that I have for maximizing this transit when we're talking about Leo, is to step into the spotlight, not to be afraid to step into the spotlight. Leo is all about self-expression. Let's do this one. Leo is all about self-expression. And recognition can feel really good during a Leo full moon. And sometimes stepping into the spotlight can help us to get that. And also entertaining feels really good when we have a full moon in Leo. There's something about being on that stage, making people laugh, and I mean a figurative stage, not a literal one, right? There's something about stepping into the spotlight with Leo energy that can feel really good from the recognition standpoint and from the entertaining standpoint. There's also just something quite bold about Leo full moon energy, right? So more than usual, this is a time to allow yourself to shine. Whenever I think of Leo, the first thing I think of is that ruled by the sun energy. Sun, sun, sun. And actually the chat that I did with my friend Corinne, where we went over the signatures for all the signs, I'm gonna list that one here. I'll put it at the end screen. We talked so much about the sun. We couldn't get away from that rulership, if I remember correctly, because it really is so key with Leo. So almost think of that sun as a spotlight. The same way that that sun is shining its light on the moon and lighting it up, it sort of can shine its light on you. This can be a great time to step into the spotlight more than usual. That recognition will feel good, entertaining others feels good, and just expressing yourself from this bold place is a really, really great way to maximize this transit. Okay, let's talk about the next tip that I have for this. I'm going to add it to what we're doing up here. My second tip is to embrace spontaneity. And now can I spell spontaneity? That's not right at all. It's not even close to right. There we go. But these days we have quick and easy, quick and easy spell check, which is quite wonderful. Spontaneity is a tough one, I'll say. Okay. So yeah, embracing spontaneity during a Leo full moon, I think is really key. Just anticipating where we're going with this. I mean, any full moon is an opportunity to have a good time. But there's something about a Leo full moon. Leo is so confident, you know. There is this sort of boldness and confidence to a Leo full moon energy, and then I think bringing in that Uranus energy is really where I'm coming with the spontaneous vibe. I think in general, just staying flexible is a great idea at this time, because it is true that Uranus, the square from Uranus, can be bringing in surprises and sudden shifts to plans. Very likely that things will not go exactly as you have them planned for the next few days, maybe the next couple of weeks while we're under the influence of this Leo full moon. It can be a good idea, just because of this Uranus square, to stay flexible and open. You know, I think what's cool about Leo full moon energy and just this transit in general, this specific full moon for all of us, is that, you know, it's just a reminder that life is an adventure sometimes, you know, and it's so important. I feel like we've all been working so hard, a lot of us and many people have been working so hard to sort of shift into a calmer nervous system, shift into survival, into thrive mode out of survive mode, shift into presence, being more present. So many of us are working on these kinds of things. And sometimes life can be an adventure, and we don't have to flip into that scared, it's a problem energy just because things sort of aren't going as expected, you know? So that's why staying flexible at this time and sort of embracing spontaneity, embracing things going a little differently than you had them planned, is a great way to maximize the potential of this energy. Good morning, Lobo. Nice to see you. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them up anytime, and I will try to get right to you. Okay, I'm going to add our next way to maximize this transit that I was thinking of to the list. Okay. Ooh. Thank you always for bearing with me. I'm sometimes a little bit slow. Follow passion and not just logic. Follow passion and not just logic. Thank you for your question, Lobo. I will talk a little bit about that at the end here. I will. I'll probably have about another 10 minutes here, and then I will answer your question. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate any comments, likes, anyone who has anything they'd like to discuss in the chat. I appreciate your contribution, and I just want to keep it moving through these 6 ideas, and then I will answer that question. Lobo, thank you so much, and feel free to come back later and check the video if you'd like to do that, if that would be better. Okay, let's talk about following passion, not logic. So Leo full moon is passionate, to be sure. It's a very passionate full moon, very soulful. there is something about that boldness, that self-expression, that confidence that sort of can equal passion. Um, and then I'm really bringing in the signature of the North Node in Pisces when I'm talking about sort of the idea of sort of following intuition, right? Rather than just following our logical mind, which we need to pay attention to as well. If we have an appointment at a certain time, you have to be there at that certain time. But there's also something to be said for following your passion, following your intuition, following your inner guidance. And if you want to do something, doing it. And gosh, I mean, why is that something that seems so obvious, but actually can be so difficult? I think with the North Node in Pisces, we're all learning right now over the course of the next 18 months. And this is our first lunation that we've had since that transit opened up. It's the first full moon. I think we're all learning to sort of follow intuition over logic just a little bit. And I think also the South Node in Virgo is about sort of releasing over planning, not over planning and overdoing too much. And so that sort of lends itself to following passion, not just logic too, right? Okay. That's another great thing to lean into that can help to maximize the potential of this transit. Another is to own your leadership qualities. This is something that's a little more available to us than usual during a Leo full moon. So I feel like it's worth mentioning. Leo is a leader. Fire signs are leaders, but especially Leo, especially that sun. Good morning, Andrea. Nice to see you. Um, so yeah, Leo is sort of a natural leader. And I think we're having so many fresh ideas right now with this Mercury uh, Sun conjunction in Aquarius. Our minds are moving very quickly. We're sort of moving very quickly. Relationships are changing and moving quickly with Venus and Aries. Um, and then anything with Uranus can sometimes be a little bit sudden. But Leo, the heart of the matter here in terms of embracing leadership qualities is that Leo is a leader and Leo is confident. And it's not it's not sort of it's the right kind of confidence. Um, Leo can shine the light on others as well. You know, it's not just about being a leader to step in front of. It's Leo knowing, embracing our leadership qualities that know that the best way to lead is keeping track of those who are following us, making sure that we are staying aware of where everyone is and what it is we're really doing here. When Leo is such a leader and so confident and bold that when that sort of confidence or leadership quality is taken at this time, it can feel really, really hard. So if there are places in your life where you're not having the kind of control that you want, that will feel extra strained. And that's part of owning our leadership quality, is going, ooh, this is a place where I don't have as much control as maybe I would like to, and acknowledging that, you know, and in doing that, hopefully, like, we step more towards it. Okay. My next tip is super simple, but worth it. I feel like have fun is like one of those it's like when you go to like a pool or something, like a town pool or something, and there's all kinds of rules for how to behave at the pool. And it's like, don't run, only cash at the snack bar, and then like rule number 3 is have fun. You kind of roll your eyes, you know? And I didn't really mean to do that here. I always laugh when I see have fun on a list of rules, and yet I have added it to a way to maximize these transits. But I really do think that a Leo full moon is a party, and full moons are in and of themselves. and Leo is in and of itself. So you sort of put these two together and it is fun party energy. You know, it's a, like I said, just to imagine that sun. It's about feeling alive, um, feeling that light of the sun. And this is a wonderful transit to embrace that side of yourself. I love these comments from Andrea here talking about someone close in her life who is feeling the effects of not being able to control everything and everyone with Leo placements. Sometimes we focus on the other stuff too much. So the reminder to have fun is appreciated. Oh, thank you, Andrea. Well, we do, but I don't mean to be like that silly rule at the town park. Um, the sixth rule, not rule. Oh my gosh, now I'm calling them rules. The sixth way to maximize this transit is to find the silver lining. And this requires a little bit of explanation. So just give me a second on this one to really sort of explain it. It's definitely connected to this Uranus square. So Uranus can bring in change. And Uranus can bring in change that feels unexpected, uh, it can sort of throw us off of our game. You know, it can make us feel a little unstable sometimes. And I think that's really because of the quickness of Uranus. But ultimately, what's happening at the time of this full moon is for our good and for our growth. And I think that remembering that just helps us to align with that potential, first of all, you know? Um, Seeing that gets you there faster. Seeing the potential um, of the positive in a change helps us to move towards that positivity that much more quickly. And I think whenever we see something with astrology, in the astrology, there can be a little bit of reassurance that okay, there it is, you know, and it must be ultimately for my good and for my growth because that's what we're always doing. And sometimes things are sudden, sometimes things are slow and easy. In the end, does it really matter, you know? But I think that trying to uh, lean towards the good always, you know, and I guess that's the big idea of this transit in general when I'm talking about ways to maximize the potential. It's a great time to just lean into that sort of concept and consciousness in general. I don't think we want to spiritually bypass, right? And sometimes it can be overdone, this idea of like, I need to think positively and find the good in everything. I'm not suggesting that. We have to honor our difficult feelings as well in order to process them and move through them properly. Um, you know, in an effort to get back to feeling good and just it's about being grateful. You know, it's about understanding that life really is very precious and every day really is very precious. And I think that maybe gratitude can be that bridge sometimes um, when it's hard to see uh, whoa, I'm thrown off my game. Something just came up unexpected. If that happens with this Uranus transit, believe in yourself, have that confidence of Leo, um, embrace the change, and find that silver lining. And that will help you to move toward all the positive potential that much more quickly. Oh, Andrea, thank you so much for your positive feedback. And thank you, everyone, for watching. I hope you have a wonderful full moon in Leo. Thank you again so much. I will be back again tomorrow. Have a great day.